Hello, everyone. Welcome back inside the film room. I'm Zach Goins, and today I am joined by the brilliant Brendan Hunt, Coach Beard himself, one of the co-creators of Ted Lasso. Brendan, welcome back to the show. It's great to have you.
Thanks for having me. I'm delighted. Good signage back there.
I know. We've got the Believe sign. We've got the team photo. We're decked out in Richmond gear here. So I'm excited to chat with you. It's been a while since we last spoke, and a lot has been going on for you and the Ted Lasso family. First off, huge congratulations for continued success into another award season. Season 2 came out, well received. You're racking up awards. The Outstanding Ensemble at SAG, you Best Comedy Series at Critics' Choice, swept the PGAs, gearing up for another Emmys run. Congratulations. How does that feel as someone, has it sunk in yet, as someone who was part of the creative process in season 1, got that reception, and it's still carrying on. It's still happening.
It's all super gratifying, but it's also like there's a great danger in caring too much, about these things, because then, but maybe that means it hasn't sunk in too, like maybe when the show is over, there'll be some fun in arranging all these shiny things people give us, in some kind of a lovely pattern on a wall somewhere, but for now, like we're the nose is very much to the grindstone. Season 1 went pretty well, and we certainly weren't making that show or making that season, under the mindset of like,
right. It wasn't,
how can we get these awards?
Yeah.
So I don't think it does us, and therefore it doesn't do the show too much good to try to aim for them or anything like that. So you try to just, keep your heads down, get to work, but also, make sure you take at least a moment to be like, well, that's cool. Thanks, everybody.
Well, if you need any places to arrange your shiny awards, like you noticed back here, I'll gladly take one for the backdrop if you're handing them out. So,
those Funkos are spaced perfectly.
Perfect size for an Emmy in between them, I think. But is it better, or do you find it indifferent, better, worse to have the award season happening while you're, actively filming a new season, or in the case of season 2, while season 2 was airing, you were getting awards for season 1? Does that make a difference to you as someone who's a part of the process?
It's 100% worse. Worse. We're busy enough. We gotta make this damn show, and now you people keep wanting us to talk about it while we're making it.
Just leave them be.
Yeah, it is weird how much it adds to an already heaving schedule. But gotta do it. Here we go. It's a sign that things are going well, that people want to chat with us. So let's have those chats. But yeah, we had a full workload last week. We got full workload coming up, and I just gotta stay awake, man. I just gotta stay awake.
Well, I appreciate you staying awake for this. Let's dive into season 2 here. Last time we spoke, you were talking about how Ted Lasso, when you think that we're going to zig, we're actually going to zag. Talking about like subverting expectations. I can't think of a better zag than Beard After Hours. Obviously, you're a shining episode from season 2. So much is just zagging from what we've come to expect with the show. From that acoustic theme song to the main characters here. You and the boys from the pub. Just the overall tone. What was the process like as you're in the writer's room? I know that this was one of the quote unquote extra episodes that you added in after you got extended to 12. So when you were coming up with these episodes initially, was it one person who was like, here's the episode about Coach Beard and his crazy adventures? Or are you all kind of like, okay, now he's going to go and do this. Now he's going to go and do that. Like, how did the ideation process work there?
So they added those extra 2 episodes, and we had a bit of a discard pile of 3 or 4 that we decided not to go with, and the Christmas episode and the Beard episode were 2 that we could add to the season that wouldn't disrupt the flow of what we were already building, because we were pretty far into breaking the season by that point. And yeah, the idea of like, what else does Beard get up to when we're not seeing him has been something we've talked about in the writer's room from the very, very beginning.
Right.
And we've just never really followed through with. so I think once, and it was Jason who was like, all right, we're going to do the beard episode. And we didn't really know yet fully what that was going to be. We knew it was going to be a bad night out and it would end in hula hooping. And it would have at least, one or two nods to After Hours, which is, sort of a great example of that type of story of, right. One bad decision sends everything, into hell. But then I was basically kept away from the script while it was being written.
They didn't let Beard break it down?
No. They wanted it to be, all like as surprising as possible. All right, let me be as surprised as possible. And they probably didn't want me, asking for, Beard to not get punched as much, or anything like that. And really, I probably would have wanted to get punched more. But yeah, like, I'm a producer on the show. I generally have some pretty early input on these scripts, and yeah, it was finally like 2 weeks before we were shooting where apparently a conversation was like, "Hey, Brendan actually does need to read this now," and they finally let me. So yeah, it was on the one hand, it was the same kind of group creation that the writer's room does. Right. But also I was excised for a great deal of that creative process. And I think it's for the best.
Well, I'm curious, one idea about this episode that I want to explore with you. Well, it actually kind of ties more into 8 and 9, because at the end of Man City, how they have that overlap. The end of 8 is the start of 9 with Beard and Ted talking. At the end of 8, Beard asks Ted, "Do you want to come with me as we go to walk this one off on the way home?" I'm curious, in this current era where everything is a multiverse, there's alternate timelines and different realities. What would a night have looked like had Ted said yes, accompanied Beard? Would they have just ended up at the pub drinking and that's it? Or would they still have gone on this wild adventure?
No, I think the blue moon was in the sky that night, no matter what. Anyone who made the mistake of going out into it, they would be punished. So yeah, it wouldn't have been the exact same Odyssey, but it definitely would have been a Odyssey, and there would have been a lot of Ted begging for mercy and Beard saying, "No, we go further." And Ted going, "All right." So yeah, let's fanfic that up. Somebody, come on.
I'm sure there's someone on the Ted Lasso Reddit that's done that. That's already dived into that. But are there any other, I know you've spoken in the past about, at one point there was you were going to run into Sam at like a falafel cart and he was ordering 2 and you're kind of, okay, why is he getting 2? And then Sam runs off. Are there other kind of elements that were cut? Are you able to speak on those?
I remember that one getting cut. Yeah. And I think even specifically it was going to be, Beard gets falafel and Sam, and then Sam sees him and is like, "I gotta go." Yeah. And doesn't explain it. Or maybe even just Sam saw him and went away. Yeah, there was gonna be a bit more of a like ships passing in the night thing, which in the end, the only thing we included from that was Jamie's dad, which obviously became more than just ships passing in the night. It became ships colliding violently, repeatedly, cannons firing. So yeah, but the good memory, the Sam one, and reveal that he's ordering that for Rebecca, and like jumps in Rebecca's car. Yeah, that's the one that that would have fit in. We could have done that one, but well, what are you gonna do? It was a long episode.
It's better as is with just the Beard adventure, so no crossover at all. I'm happy with the way it ended up, but with 12 episodes clear from the jump, as we mentioned, with season 2, it was 10 episodes initially, and then they asked for 12, so you added in those 2. For season 3, with 12 from the jump, are there still going to be any extra episodes, or will it all be 12 fully narrative, straight through?
No, I think it's it's all what's the word I want? Not endemic, not insular, not organic. It's all of a piece. Okay. There's no pauses to do something weird. I mean, there is an episode that takes place in an unusual setting, but even that episode still is full of events that are germane to the arc of the season for basically all the characters. So nothing as detached as Christmas and Beards Night Out.
Gotcha. If there were to be, if you could have added 2 extras, are there any other extra stories in this world that you would like to be able to tell, diving into specific characters' histories or time off?
Great question. Thank you. I've just been brought beverages. Yeah. I mean, the football nerd in me kind of wants to go through Roy Kent's career and really map that out, and like, who did he replace on Chelsea's Champions League winning team of 2013 or whatever year that was. I also wouldn't mind spending more time with Ted and Beard's moms and finding out if they know each other, and because if they do, I'm not sure they like each other, and that's always fun.
That's a great quote from Ted, talking about the moms, giving the look into who the son is, who the child is. But it's also a lot about dads too. And speaking of dads, Nate obviously has a lot of issues there. But your character and Nate are both, there's a great like foil between the two characters. Is one, yourself is unquestionably devoted to Ted, versus the other, feels restrained, wants to break out of Ted's shadow, and obviously does so at the end of season 2. But it's interesting because they both have such, similar backgrounds with trouble with like validation, and just like issues like internally. So what is, with that similar background, why is it that these characters are so divisive in the way that they actually interact with Ted?
I mean, just a big theme from the beginning for us has been bad dads, and like the power of the destructive power of bad dads, and the important power of good dads. Like, to what degree is someone to blame for their own actions when forces imposed upon them by bad fatherhood have set them on a bad course and left them damaged, but also they are grown adults who should know to take control and to not let their traumas define them, so to speak. And so it's a wordy way of putting it, but yeah, I can't quite fully answer your question, just to say that it's the dads of it is, you're spot on. I mean, it's a big part of what we're looking at on the show. And we'll see where everyone ends up, and then maybe we can answer it a little more thoroughly.
Awesome. Well, Brendan, thank you so much for joining me. It's a blast as always to talk to you, and I'm looking forward to more in season 3.
Thanks, Zach. Appreciate it.
Have a good one.
Take care.
If you enjoyed that interview, be sure to subscribe down below so that you can stay up to date with all our latest Ted Lasso interviews, as well as our podcast episodes, movie and TV news, and more. And be sure to subscribe to our newsletter, The Rewind, so that you can get all of our interviews delivered straight to your inbox.